Who wants a mustache ride?
Fun. I want one.
I do.
Free mustache rides. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Duff. It's another episode of Duff Uncensored. I can't do a mustache. It's funny because I have a goatee, I have a beard, but if I shave off everything but my mustache, it's horrible. It's just, I don't have the chin for it, okay? I got the old classic Duff chin. That means I have extra chin. So I can't do it. It just looks god-awful. But anyway, moving along, hey, how's it going? It's another episode of Duff Uncensored. I hope you're having a great day. Got a lot to get to. Real quick, hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening. Also, don't forget today's show is presented to you by the great people over at Sugar Fire in Westminster, as well as Jad's Mile High Smoke, and of course, Bet Online. Bet Online is your number one source for all your summer sports this season, from MLB, golf, NBA, and NHL playoff stats. All the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Go ahead and make your way to betonline.ag today, or go ahead and use your mobile device to get in on all the action. It's Bet Online, where the game starts. Speaking of starting shit up, let's get to those headlines.
Let's go! Let's go! And now, here are the headlines.
I feel like I stumbled a little bit on that, but I was going to say you're welcome, but man, my brain is just like... my brain is like Charlie Brown's parents right now. Mom, I want to go to the bathroom. I don't need to be supervised. That was an accident. I didn't mean to smear my poo all over the wall. Anyway, that was dumb and random. Anyway, OnlyFans model shut down the portal in New York / Dublin. Remember, we were just talking about this the other day. And what did we say? That somebody's going to screw it up. And sure enough. Now, allegedly, people were flashing and doing stuff on both sides. But everything I'm hearing is coming from the U.S. side. Not surprising. But anyway, what happened was this OnlyFans model decided to flash the people of Dublin. She showed them her tatas. And this is what she said. I thought the people of Dublin deserved to see my New York homegrown potatoes. So that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and they had to shut it down, right? Because this thing's supposed to be going 24/7. But there's other things that have been occurring. Like there's a video of a guy who held up his cell phone to the screen showing a video of the World Trade Center towers burning and billowing with black smoke during the 9/11 attack. Not cool, dude. Another video showed a woman being dragged away from the portal by police after she was grinding against the screen. And according to the person that was filming that, basically she was there for about 20 minutes, very drunk, and was slapping and grinding against the portal before guards stepped in. What the fuck? So she did that. She was grinding, bumping and grinding. There was some dude showing 9/11 attack video. But the lady that shows her boobs, that's it. No, that's too far. What the fuck, man? We're such prudes when it comes to boobs, don't you think? Wasn't there a movement, or is there a movement for like free the nipple up in, I know, Fort Collins? I need to go visit Fort Collins, apparently, because it is kind of funny when you think about it. It's kind of silly. Ladies should be able to walk around with their shirts off if they want. I encourage it. I do. But that being said, as much as I say that, once that becomes an official thing, then people are going to be like, well, guys should be walking around without any pants. And I'm like, no, I don't need to see that. And I don't need to partake in that. You know how that thing is. A fluctuation of weather. I could be sick. Next thing you know, boom. What the hell is that thing? Where is it? But I do think it is kind of silly that people freak out over boobs. It's so funny. That being said, big fan of them. Big fan of those things. But again, not shocked that the portal had to be shut down for a brief time because people were using it and abusing it. Big shock. And it's so shocking that the majority of the abuse came from the United States side. Because we're dumb. Hey, this is crazy. And it's a kind of a serious story, but I'll see what I can do with it. Did you guys see this whole thing with Miss Teen USA stepping down, and then the runner-up said she didn't want the crown either? So I started reading into it, and basically after Miss Teen USA, I can't pronounce her name, stepped down last week, the runner-up, Miss Teen New York, Stephanie Skinner, told the New York Post that she didn't want the crown either. She said, I ultimately came to the decision to decline it. I didn't feel like it was the right decision considering all the circumstances. So then I was like, well, what are the circumstances? Apparently they were being bullied by the organization's CEO, Layla Rose. And as I scroll to the bottom, basically one of the Miss USA and it's all the same, was waking up every day on pins and needles because of harassing emails from pageant organizers. Don't do this, do that, take that post down, unlike that post. You can't speak to anybody. Remember your NDA. You can't go here unless we confirm. And they said it was micromanaging to the 10th degree and harassing. There was also a point where they were posting to Instagram as Miss USA or Miss Teen USA without the girl's knowledge. So it's a big, weird situation. But that being said, I'm like reading that part that I just said where the don't do this, don't do that, take that post down, unlike that post. I live that at the radio station. And to a point, I get the organization. Because you're supposed to be, you can't be liking posts. I don't know what posts they liked, what posts they commented on, or whatever, right? But to be honest, there are times where you're like, yeah, dude, you can't. Like, I remember talking to some individuals at the radio station. I was like, you guys realize when you like something on social media, if I follow you, it shows up, so-and-so liked this post. And then it says, along with however many others. They're like, what? It does? I'm like, yes, it does. So if you like something offensive or something controversial, I kind of get where the organization's coming from. But that being said, I remember being reprimanded by the company because I said something about, I was, what was it? It was something in regards to, it was a stance against racism. And I said, it's fucked, essentially, without using the F word, because I wasn't allowed to do that on social media at the time. But I said, essentially saying it's fucked up that we still, you can be harmed in this country based on the color of your skin, blah, 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 blah. And racism is such an ignorant thing. I got reprimanded for that, or at least unofficially reprimanded for that. It was off the record reprimanded. And that's fucked up. So I kind of get where they're coming from. And what's also interesting is Miss USA, because I was telling you about Miss Teen USA, the runner-up is declining. Well, the runner-up for Miss USA is Miss Hawaii, and she's supposed to take the crown as of tomorrow. And like if she's experiencing a bunch of bullying and a bunch of nonsense, whatever it is, depending on the level of it, if she wants to really have a movement of control in united power, then she needs to decline the thing as well. And what a crazy moment, because I believe the CW is apparently still a thing. That network is considering cutting ties with the pageants, which would be a devastating blow. And if there really is some wrongdoings and people being mistreated, then somebody like Miss Hawaii, if she's aware of it and if she's a victim of it, she needs to stand up and say, no, I don't want that either. Or she goes to get the crown and then they put it on her and then she just like throws it in the audience or something. or pimp slaps the lady that is trying to present it to her and stick it on her head. Like, that would be so powerful. Maybe not, maybe don't resort to violence, but you see what I'm saying. If there really is, and if she's aware of it, then yeah, that's a great moment to stand shoulder to shoulder with your fellow ladies up there, whether they're next to you or not. So it's a very interesting thing to think about. I think pageants are ridiculous. But that being said, some of these ladies, they're very intelligent. Probably all of them are, because a lot of them are what was that one lady? She had like she's Skinner. One of the ladies is a rising junior majoring in economics at the Wharton School of at the University of Pennsylvania. Obviously smarter than me because I can't even read. So, I mean, they're no dummies. And these pageants are a way for them to get scholarships and stuff like that. And it helps project certain things, and they can do some great charity work as the crown champion. But we'll see what ends up happening. It could be, depending on what happens, it could be the downfall of something that has been going on for a long freaking time. Miss USA, Miss Teen USA, all those things that could be going away. Which would be kind of bizarre, but honestly, the only time I think about these things is when something like this happens in the news. Otherwise, I don't really care. I can respect what they do. I get it. They're very beautiful women as well. I appreciate that a lot. I do. I do. As I sit back and smoke a cigarette in the corner as I watch the CW, a channel that I forgot existed. Be like, yeah, talk about economics. Yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry. Who's watching those pageants other than the pageant moms? It's creepy old guys, right? Let's just point out the truth. Let's stop hiding around some bullshit. Who's watching Miss USA, Miss Teen USA? Perverts. Okay? Sorry. It's true. Hey, life sucks. Life sucks, and it comes at you fast. And guys are perverts. And we got a lot more coming your way. Sugar Fire in Westminster. Amazing place to grab some barbecue and a great place to cater your graduation, your wedding, your birthday, or a big meeting. And all you got to do is stop by Sugar Fire in Westminster. They're off 144th and Orchard Parkway. You can go to their website, sugarfiresmokehouse.com. You can follow them on Instagram and Facebook at SugarFireWesty. They have an amazing menu, just jaw-dropping, so freaking good. And when it comes to catering, nobody does it better. They are so freaking good. Whether it's smoked brisket, smoked turkey, smoked wings. Sorry, my brain just went. They got ribs, they got burgers, so many great things. They got amazing sauces to go with it, whether it's St. Louis sweet, Texas hot, coffee, Carolina mustard, even white barbecue. They got amazing sides, whether it's their world famous coleslaw, mac and cheese. They got brisket mac and cheese. So many different things. You got to go check them out. SugarFireSmokehouse.com is a great way to do it. Sugarfire, by the way, my favorite place to grab some barbecue. A lot of people say there's no good barbecue in Colorado. I call bullshit. Go to Sugarfire. It's in Westminster, off 144th and Orchard Parkway, right next to Snooze on the south side of 144th. It's so freaking good. Take your catering up a bunch of freaking notches with Sugarfire in Westminster. Go check them out. Again, sugarfiresmokehouse.com. Go there right now while you're listening to this. Sugarfire in Westminster, reinventing barbecue every single day. Another great place you should check out is Jad's Mile High Smoke. It's the only licensed canna-bar in the state of Colorado, which is just mind-blowing. It's like an alcohol bar, but it's for cannabis. You got to go check out Jad's. You can buy and consume on site. Purchase up to an ounce of flour or 8 grams of concentrate. They even sell pre-rolls and edibles, and they provide everything you need to consume it with, which is freaking awesome. So convenient. They got 7 big screen TVs so you can watch your favorite sporting event or even host a watch party. They even have stuff to play with too, which is cool. You can just chill. You could go in there by yourself. Guys, ladies, just go in there and chill. You could rent a Nintendo Switch. You could play some, but they got a ton of free board games to play, playing cards, coloring books, dominoes, all that cool stuff. Plus, they got a quarter arcade with pinball machines, vintage Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and more. Jad's has a ton of events. Like, they got comedy shows on the first and third Friday of every month. They got live music, open mic nights, drag bingo, craft nights, puff and paints, game nights. Oh my God, there's so much going on there. It's so cool. You got to go check them out. They're open daily from noon to 10. Happy hour runs from noon to 4:20 Monday through Friday. It's such a cool place. You got to go check out Jad's Mile High Smoke. It's just 9 minutes from Coors Field. It's open, like I said, noon to 10, but you got to be 21 or older to consume. No outside product. Just buy it there at Jad's. Jad's is over at 7667 Washington Street. Just GPS to Jad's. This has to be one of the dumbest world records I've ever seen. And I guess I'd never really thought about it. There's people out there that all they do is try to achieve these dumb Guinness World Records. I have a buddy named Brian who was on that Guinness World Record show. I don't know if that's still on, but he tried to break a record for eating the most like burgers in like a minute. And what's funny is I talked to him after that because he got really close, but he didn't make it. And I was like, "What was that like?" He's all, "Those burgers were disgusting. They had been sitting out and they were cold, and so when you're eating them, it's harder to eat when they're not warm." And he said it just didn't taste good either. So it's very interesting when you see hear the behind the scenes when it comes to world records. But also, I'm sitting there reading this and I'm like, this is the dumbest fucking world record I have ever heard. This is the world record. A man inserts 243 thumbtacks into a cork board in 1 minute to achieve the world record. A record that he's held 3 previous times. That's fucking dumb. Could you imagine being the spouse of this person? It's like, what are you doing, dude? Let's go hang out. No, I got to practice. Got to practice. Kids, can't spend time with you. Daddy's got to practice. Oh, Daddy doesn't love me. Daddy doesn't hug me. Daddy won't see my baseball games. Blah, blah, blah. Why? Well, he's got to practice, putting 243 thumbtacks into a cork board. Oh, yeah, that's more important. So I just don't get it. Don't get it. Could you imagine you have friends over? What have you been up to, Todd? Well, I've been really working hard on achieving my next goal in life. Oh, please elaborate. What's going on in your world? Well, I've been hunkering down and training my butt off to get this new thumbtack corkboard world record. I'm sorry, what now? Yeah. I'm really trying to break the record. I think I can do 243. 243 thumbtacks in a corkboard in 1 minute. Wow. Wow. So how long's your wife been cheating on you? How soon to the divorce? I shouldn't say that, but I did. Come on, man. That's weird. That being said, I've said this a million times. There's got to be something out there that like you and I could do to break a world record. I just haven't gone through those Guinness World Record books. My son always checks them out from the library. I just always forget about it. There's got to be something in there that you or I or both of us could do and break a world record for it, right? Because apparently inserting 243 thumbtacks into a cork board is a world record. There's something else out there for us. Let's do that. You do the research because I'm going to forget. I'm going to forget. Let's be honest. I mean, I guess in a sense, it'd be kind of fun to do. And so who decides that that's a thing? Like the thumbtacks and a cork board. Like I saw you putting up those thumbtacks on the office bulletin board, Todd. You did a great job. You're super fast. Oh, I know. I'm pretty lightning fast. In fact, maybe even world record fast. And he just starts going to town on it. Like it's just bizarre to me. Bizarre. I can understand the restaurants that do the world's largest pizza. That makes sense. In a way, I guess it makes sense. I think it's stupid, but at least they feed people with it, and it's very obvious that that's a potential record. It's like, who thinks of that? Like there could be a world record. Like I have this Savannah banana bobblehead next to me. Like how many times can I rotate his head by jiggling it, back and forth? Like, I got the banana going. Like, how many times can you do that in a minute? Something stupid like that. I didn't even get the head to rotate properly. It just looked like I'm jacking off the Savannah banana. His name's Split, by the way. Split. That's just bizarre. Just bizarre. If you find a world record that you think that we could conquer, let me know at DeHuff Podcast. You can either just post on my timeline, slide into my DMs, or you can hit me up on my email, dehuffpodcast@gmail.com. I think that would be fascinating. Like I'm just, the more I'm thinking about it, like stacking chairs. I'm sure there's a stacking chairs a world record. Think about if you work at a school. Be like, okay, we're going to try to stack 100 chairs in 1 minute. And you got 2 people doing it. Something like that. Be like, how many chairs can they stack? But they got to be too high or so. I don't know. It's fascinating. So weird. So weird. Hey, we also saw this one coming. We were talking about the other story about the portal and how we saw that coming with it being shut down for a little bit. We were talking about this maybe a month ago. Red Lobster is officially closing a bunch of its restaurants, right around 60 in the United States. 3 of those are here in Colorado as of right now. They're obviously hitting some hard times. And the more I think about Red Lobster, listen, when I was a kid, I used to love going to Red Lobster. But the more I think about it, it's a very outdated menu. It's very just old school. Yes, they do their Lobster Fest and Shrimp Fest, and that's really what fucked them over. They lost a lot of money on those. But ultimately, unless they're doing a special like that, nobody's going there. They need to really just redo your menu. Redo it. Redo the vibe in there too. It's very old and musty, you know? It's just ugh. It's got a weird scent to it when you walk in. I mean, go in there and just put some bright colors on the wall. Just get rid of all the dark wood, and I don't know. It just seems doom and gloom, and it just doesn't have a good vibe when you go into a Red Lobster. Get some lobster tacos, lobster burritos, shrimp tacos, lobster rolls, shrimp rolls, stuff like that. Redo it. Have some of the other things, but redo the menu. It's just, eh, it's a great idea, but man, it's sad. It's more of a sad restaurant now, and that's why they're closing. And yes, there's a lot more to it than what I'm putting out there. But I mean, I think that's a problem with a lot of restaurants is they don't evolve with their customers. And to be honest, every time I go into a Red Lobster, which isn't very often anymore, but my son loves lobster. And whenever we go in there, we are by far the youngest people in there. It's mostly old people. Sorry. It the food is good. It's not great, but it doesn't seem like it's changed since I was a kid. That's not good. You got to evolve just like other restaurants do. They might keep a few staples here and there, but Jesus, man, you can't just sit there and do the same thing. You're just leaning back because guess what? Leaning back gets you. Well, now you're filing for bankruptcy and you're closing right around 60 restaurants. Come on. Come on, Red Lobster. You can do it. You can do it. Redo your menu. Take a survey. Go start eating at other restaurants that are similar to what you guys serve and see like different ways to present it, different menu options. It's pretty basic. And as far as what you need to change, but the problem is you're just sitting back and it doesn't look like you're doing jack squat. Look at Subway. As much as I bag on Subway, and as big as Subway is, they just redid their menu, what, last year or the year before, something like that. And some people are like, why would they mess with it? Well, they messed with it because the market said they needed to mess with it. And that's why they did it, whether we realize it or not. And that's smart. When you see restaurants modifying their menu, ultimately there's reasons for it. And it's because people aren't buying certain things, so you got to subtract that, then you need to add things, change things up. Red Lobster doesn't seem to be doing that. And it's not just their menu, it's the atmosphere. They need to change it. It's very gloomy when you go in there. I feel slightly depressed when I go into a Red Lobster. It's just ugh. I hate to bag on it. I think it's a great idea. They just need to change some shit. Red Lobster, hire me. I will fucking fix your shit. Nah, they're not going to hire me. It'd be a come to Jesus talk. You're like, do you think this is a good idea? You just slapped the CEO. I know. That was a bad choice. I got to admit. Shouldn't have done that. But man, I hate to see it. But like I said a few months ago when we were talking about this before, I have a feeling this is going to be one of those things that in like 5-10 years from now you're going to be like, hey, remember Red Lobster? That was kind of cool. I remember eating there when I was a kid. Yeah, they're not around anymore, type of thing. It wouldn't be a bad idea if they just closed down some some locations and reopened some, but just smaller, and tried to make them like quick, a little quicker, a quick serve. What would be wrong with that? Red Lobster, speedy Red Lobster. I don't know what the fuck they would call it. But what I'm saying is you got to change it up, because what you're doing right now is broken. It's broken, so you might as well fix it. So ridiculous. Hey, speaking of ridiculous, let's get into some mailbag.
Mailbag. You've got mail.
This is kind of left over from yesterday. Armin, my former boss, Armin, decided to chime in. He said, hey, you know what? The word stowed is completely underrated and underutilized. Excuse me. And it's funny because it's true. I liked the word stowed. I used it a few times yesterday. And it is one of those things where you say it and people are like, I like it. Some people will look at you and go, he's just trying to throw out fancy words. It's not really a fancy word, stowed. Where'd you put it? Well, I stowed it over there. Oh, okay. It's just not a word that people use, but you know what it is. You carefully placed something, packed it away over here, stowed away over there, right? I used it with my son, and he just looked at me, and he's just like, stowed. Then I explained it to him. He's like, okay, yeah, not bad. It's not a weird sounding word, but hey, stowed it. Start using that word today, once or twice. See what people do. Look at their eyes. Read their body language when you say stowed. Do you have a pen I could borrow? Yeah, I have some stowed away in that drawer over there. Do you think they're going to make fun of you for saying stowed? They might if they're dicks. Speaking of dicks, thank you, Armin, for chiming in. If you guys want to chime in, by the way, go ahead and send me an email, dahuffpodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit me up on my socials @dahuffpodcast. Before I get to Michael's response to this, I'm going to tell you what I wrote on X. And it's because I've been seeing these more and more out on the roads. And I was talking to my buddy Brandon yesterday over at my son's baseball game. God, they've lost like a couple heartbreakers lately. It's so, before I get into this, I got to say this. One of the hardest things for me as a parent is seeing my kids and their friends struggle. And it is so hard to sit there and see the kids, once they get kicked in the gut on the baseball diamond and trying to see them fight back. It's really hard. And my wife even had to remind me, she's like, remember when you were a kid? Do you think that you had the mentality that you do now of like, you got to fight hard and blah, blah, blah? No, probably not. Probably not. And it's hard. And they're going through some struggles right now. And hopefully things will turn around, and they got a bunch of games, and school's almost out. So hopefully that'll allow the kids to focus a little bit more on, having fun and not be so exhausted from the day. But anyway, so yeah, it's one of those things. But anyway, I was talking to Brandon, a fellow parent. His kid is on my son's team. And I brought up the student driver stickers that you're seeing on everybody's car lately. This has been kind of a thing going on for almost a year, but it's really picking up in my area, in the North Denver area, as of late. I guess I haven't noticed it until as of late. And it's really bizarre because there's not that many student drivers on the road. That's bullshit. So I put on X, I said, let's be honest. Have you put one of these, and I posted a picture of the student driver stickers. It says, be patient. I'm a student driver. Something like that. Have you put one of these on your car even though you don't have a student driver? And these things are everywhere. And Michael responded with, no, but I'd like to put them on the back of the cars that drive like shit. First of all, I agree. If we could just be allowed to put stickers of whether it's I'm a student driver or I drive like shit and not get in trouble for vandalism, I would like to be able to put those on people's cars and have no, consequences. Because there's a lot of shitty drivers out there. I'm probably just as guilty as anybody. But let's be honest, there's some people out there that are extremely bad at driving. But going back to this whole student driver sticker, this is bullshit. You're trying to get leniency from police, probably, and or other other drivers. They're less likely to ride my ass if I'm a student driver or they think I'm a student driver. Then you drive by them and they're like these people that are well into their, 50s, 60s, 70s. Stuff like that. It's like, come on, man. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I see a student driver thing before all this, it kind of made me want to drive more like a dick and aggressive around them. Just, let them get a taste of the real world. He's driving. He's on my butt. And I'm like, honk my horn when the light just barely turns green. Come on, move, fucker. That's because I'm a dick. I don't know. Uh, do you guys have those? I appreciate it if you do have a student driver on there. But if everybody's doing it, it kind of ruins it for the people that actually do justifiably need the sticker or want to put the sticker on there. My neighbors have a sticker because they got a student driver. She's learning to drive. So that makes sense. But I see people everywhere with them. Everywhere. And it's funny, I searched online and apparently this has been kind of an issue, quote unquote issue, in the US for about 10 months. People are like, what the heck is going on? Well, it's very easy nowadays to get those stickers, like whether from Amazon or Walmart and stuff like that. It's not the end of the world. Let's be honest. It's not the end of the world. But it's just like, come on, man. Come on. How about you just don't drive like shit? How about that? Oh, I'm a student driver. That's why. Sorry, officer. Yeah, listen, you could have a bumper sticker that says be patient, I'm a student driver. You're driving like shit. Guess what? The cop doesn't care. Especially if he pulls up next to you and sees you like you're a 70-year-old shitty driver. Like, oh, now I got to pull you over now. I'm going to pull you over and it's going to be worse for you. If I was a cop, I'd be such a dick cop when it comes to stuff like that. Be like, oh, I thought you were a student driver. Grandma. Nope. You're getting a ticket. I'm going to give you an extra, problem. You're driving reckless. You're speeding. I'll say this. It is one of those things that stresses me out to kind of think about when my kids start driving. Oh my God. My son's 11. So in 4 years, we're going to be, because you get the learner permit when you're 15. Like oh God. I think he'll be good with it, but it's still one of those things, finding the great place to go to practice. Then I'm also thinking of, think about like when you first step on the gas and you realize, and you're testing it to see what happens if I step on the gas a lot. Like, you got to be in a really good parking lot. So that's it just stresses me out. And if you're going through that as a parent and you're teaching your kids to drive, you got to share your stories with me, because that's got to be insane. I remember my stepdad taught me how to drive, and my sister did a pretty good job teaching me. I remember the biggest drive I ever took for the first time was with my sister's ex-husband, Devin, and we drove from down in South Arvada all the way up to Broomfield, and he rode with me. And that was like really stressful. When you're on like major roads, stopping, ooh. And thankfully I learned the majority on automatic, but I wish I kind of would have learned more on stick shift. But yeah, man, it's just wild stuff. I do not look forward to teaching my kids how to drive, but I will, try to get them with different people so they can learn different techniques. And there's got to be somebody that can handle stress better than I can, because I'm gonna be like, "What the fuck did you do that for? Oh my god!" And he's gonna be like, "Dad, what did you do? I just shit my pants." No, he won't do that. He'd just be like, "Dad, I am driving fine. I just hit the gas." I think my father-in-law, who used to be a firefighter, is probably the best option, because he's like a great driver and he's calm and collected. And also, I can just pawn that off onto him. Good luck, Tim. Oh, man. Thank you guys so much for listening. Really appreciate it. Again, if you want to share some stories with me, I love it when you guys do, just like Armin did and Michael and so many others this week. Go ahead and hit me up, DeHuff Podcast, at DeHuff Podcast on social media. You can direct message me or just hit me up on my timeline, or you can send me a message on email. It's always welcomed, DeHuffPodcast@gmail.com. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for supporting this show. Thank you for making this the #1 comedy podcast in the state of Colorado. I can't thank you enough. I honestly can't. It's so much fun. And yes, I'm not doing slapstick comedy nonstop. Huh? Yeah, I'm talking about Miss USA and Miss Teen USA. And, women's rights. Okay? Don't be a dick. Standing united, stuff like that. But I'm also talking about stupid drivers using the word stow, Red Lobster collapsing on itself because it's not creative. You got dumb world records by sticking thumbtacks into cork boards. All that good stuff. And people grinding and bumping and grinding and bumping on a portal from New York to Dublin. You guys are amazing. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Share it with your friend if you could. Big thanks to Sugar Fire in Westminster. Go check them out for your catering needs, or just go in there and grab some great lunch or dinner. Great place to go. Also, big thanks to Jad's Mile High Smoke. They are a great place to just go relax. Listen, life's stressful. Go in there, just chill. Rip a bong, sit down, watch TV, maybe play some Nintendo Switch. I don't know. Just have a good time. Also, big thanks to Bet Online. Go to betonline.ag. It's DeHuff Uncensored. You guys are amazing. Have a wonderful day. Don't be a dick. Let's keep moving forward. I'll talk to you next time.